Welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. I'm Jill, coach and owner of CS&F. My team and I are here to help you take charge of your fitness and nutrition. In each episode, we'll provide you our best so that you can take your health to the next level. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with our host and coach, Alex Knight.
Alrighty, guys, we're on another episode of the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Alex Cottingham. Jill's back in the studio.
What's up, guys?
Jill, our studio looks a little different today.
The studio is not the studio. We're actually replacing the flooring in our offices, so we're actually in the physical therapy room today.
Thank you, Barb, who does physical therapy, that we stole your office today.
Yes, borrowed it. We borrowed it.
Jill, we also have another guest here with us.
We do.
Why don't you introduce her? What's your name?
Her name is Alexis.
Hi, Alexis.
And I have Sills in Sugarwater, but I have Knight on the record. So she's recently married.
That's right.
Alexis Knight. She is our newest coach. She is coaching our youth performance and kids classes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alexis. I feel like, Jill, that name is so common here because we just
have
had
a lot
Alexa.
Of those. Yeah.
We have Alex. We have Alexis. It's
Yes.
just such a great name.
It is.
Alexis, before we kind of get into your CrossFit story and just kind of who you are, give us, like I like to say, the 60-second version of all things Alexis.
Oh, wow.
Right now. Snapshot.
Okay. So I'm from Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. Went to Mississippi State. I have kind of like been in sports and fitness and stuff for a long time. I started weightlifting in 7th grade for soccer. And
Where did you start weightlifting? Like at home or at the gym or?
My soccer coach did bonus weightlifting outside of practice.
Okay.
So I started doing that. So was using like a 45-pound men's barbell in 7th grade.
Pretty much all they have sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, ran cross-country track, all that kind of stuff. Like to travel a lot. I've been to every continent except Antarctica and South America.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah, I've lived in Asia for 7 months of my life.
Dang.
And Africa also 7 months of my life. So that's pretty fun.
That's cool.
And you just got married. Well,
I did.
Not just got married, but.
Yeah, almost 9 months ago. So it's been a while.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
What did you do in, what continent did you say?
Asia. Africa.
Which one?
Africa.
30 seconds. Why were you over there?
Why? I have done a lot of like missions discipleship type stuff. So I did a program called World Race. And then I was asked to lead the race. And so I came home for 7 weeks and then I left again and led a group of people. So I had done 1 month in Africa before with like an internship type thing. And then I did a World Race exposure trip to Malaysia and then took a little hiatus from college, did 2 years of that, and then came back, graduated college.
Dang.
What was your major at Mississippi State?
I had a lot of them. I think I changed my major 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That is also normal.
I
yes.
was biological engineering for 2 years, and then I switched to the clinical side of kinesiology, and then I was a PT tech for a summer, decided that I hated that, so I switched to the performance side of kinesiology, and then ended up graduating in performance fitness.
Love it. Wow.
Performance fitness.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So let's go down that route a little bit.
Yeah. And here we are.
And here we are. Exactly. There it is. All right, guys, tune into the next episode. Your first exposure to lifting, fitness, exercise was in 7th grade. Mm-hmm. How did that get into CrossFit, and then how did that get you here?
Yeah, so interesting enough, my organic chemistry teacher in high school did CrossFit.
What a cool teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
she was amazing. She could only wear tank tops because her arms were so big. It was awesome. I loved her. She was a really intense personality, but she did a cross training session with cross country, and she was like, "Hey, I think that you would like CrossFit." And I was like, "No, I'm a runner."
Right.
And then I got to college and was playing like intramurals and stuff like that, flag football, soccer, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this really isn't cutting it for my competitive need. And so I went to the gym, the Sanderson Center at Mississippi State, and it was packed slam full in January. And I was like, I cannot do this.
Right.
So someone asked if they wanted if anyone wanted to come with them to try a CrossFit class. And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
I've done that once before.
At a CrossFit gym, not at
the
university.
Right, at Starkville CrossFit. And I went, and it was...
What was your first workout?
Oh my gosh. It was... I don't know the name of it. It was a spin-off of one of the girl workouts.
Okay.
So my partner, his name was Daniel. He's a monster. He actually has a world record for the amount of burpees done in like a certain amount of time. That's like what he wanted to do for his birthday one year. Anyway, he's a monster. It was a partner workout, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 sit-ups, 400 air squats.
Angie.
Sounds similar.
It's similar to Angie, yeah. While your partner's working, the other one's running a 400.
Oh, that's bad. For a first workout?
Yes.
Ooh-wee.
Keep in mind, I ran track and played soccer. I had no upper body strength.
Oh, my. How'd your arms feel afterwards?
Okay, that's why I signed up. I could not lift my arms like more than 15 degrees for like 3 days. I was like, I'm so bad at this, and it bothered me, so I kept going.
You're like, I need to get better at this.
Yep.
So if you're just tuning into this episode, go back to episode 53 on why this gym does fundamentals rather than giving people rhabdo.
You will not do 200 push-ups day one.
You will not get that experience
or 400
here.
squats.
We will onboard you at your level and your pace to make sure you are good to go.
We want you to lift your arms higher than 15 degrees.
That's right.
We do.
Granted, we will push you,
Yeah.
but we will not say sink or swim.
Yeah.
Jill, if someone's just tuning into this episode, what was your first workout?
150 slam balls.
150. So what does that mean?
So a slam ball is like a tiny wall ball, and it's weighted. So you take it above your head, you slam it on the ground in a squat position, and you stand up and bring it back over your head, slam it down in a squat, and stand up. And I had a very similar experience, but it was with my legs after that workout. And I was like, something's wrong. I don't know what this feeling is in my legs. And I loved it. And so I went back.
And the rest is history.
Yes, yeah. I actually have a picture of Hunter and I doing our first workout. Kinsey is 16 now, but she was in an infant carrier.
Wow.
In that picture of our first workout, yeah.
Wow.
My first workout was Barbara. So it was a heroic. It was not a hero workout, a benchmark workout.
Yes.
Which is 5 rounds of 20 pull-ups, 30 push-ups, 40 air squats, 40 sit-ups, 50 air squats. Usually there's 3-minute rest in between each round. We didn't get the 3-minute rest. It was just 5 rounds for time. And it was in Michigan. It was Christmas Eve at 6 a.m. And I said, yeah, I'll go with you Christmas Eve. And there was 2 feet of snow out in the outside. And I literally took my shirt off and laid in the snow afterwards because I just got hit by a bus. And I was like, what is this? I want to get better at it.
That probably helped with your recovery, honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in another episode.
So, Alexis, that was your first exposure. 30 seconds, quickest. Give us a quick update on how that led you to CS&F.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was at that gym. That gym got bought out by a different gym, Tailor Made Fitness, shout out. Switched over to them. They bought out all the gyms kind of in Starkville, and so everyone kind of meshed into this one gym. I was there for a couple of years, and then when I was out of the country for 2 years, I realized that the thing that I missed the most was CrossFit and all of those kinds of things. So I sent him a message and asked if he needed a coach when I came back. And he said, yes, that would be great. We would love that. So I came home, got my L1, which was, I got it the summer of 2019 and I started in 2015. So
if you're just listening, the L1 is the CrossFit coaching certification. Yes. So you're a certified coach to be able to coach.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So 4 years into CrossFit, got that, and then started coaching in August. Realized I really, really loved it. And then I kind of got a connection in Georgia and Smyrna at CrossFit South Cobb and went on as a full-time coach there for about a year, almost a year and a half. And then got married, moved up to northern Georgia, north of Atlanta, and then got plugged in at CS&F through a couple of friends, dropped in for a class, and then once we kind of got settled and moved in, joined as a member here, and then kind of jumped on as coaching teens and a couple personal training. So
awesome.
How would you describe Coming Strength and Fitness to a non-Coming Strength and Fitness member?
There's a lot of people that have been here for a really long time, which is really cool to see in a CrossFit gym. I would say that it is friendly to lots of different kinds of lifestyles. So I've actually brought a friend, and she made a comment about how friendly it is kind of like for kids. They're kind of all around in between classes, but there's like, it kind of eliminates a lot of barriers for people to be here. Yeah.
Also, I should have said this at the top of this episode that since we're getting floors redone, you're probably going to hear a couple like clangs and bangs in the background.
There's some hammering. There's some hammering happening.
But I like this because this is real life. This is actually
totally real life,
a normal Tuesday that we're recording and getting stuff done, which is why we're not in our normal studio like we said at the beginning of this episode. But you probably might hear a hammer or some sort of noise in the background, but that's okay. There's a couple of different fitness podcasts that literally will just like go right in the middle of the gym, and you'll literally hear the coach in the background, like barbells like clanging and banging while they're talking, and like you can like barely hear it because they have like some like crappy microphone. But I was like, that's kind of cool because it kind of like takes you into the gym. You can hear the people working out in the background.
Yeah.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. All right, we're rounding second now. We're halfway done, and we're going to pivot a little bit in this conversation because while we were talking about this episode, Alexis brought up a really cool point that said, hey, have you ever had a podcast over the term self-governance? And I was like, Alexis, no, because I don't even know what that word means. What are you talking about? And basically, this is the idea of, hey, how do you govern yourself? Meaning, how do you take care of yourself? What are you doing not just in the gym, but outside of the gym to best prepare you for life, to increase your health and well-being and happiness? And this isn't just, hey, how can I get PRs and optimize my performance? Where, yes, that is part of it, but what do our relationships look like? What does our work-life balance look like? What is our sleep and stress? And I think it's cool that Jill's part of this conversation too, is because this is also some of the things that you talk about in one-on-one nutrition coaching as well. Mm-hmm. Here at the gym, we have fitness coaches and we have nutrition coaches because we know that to increase your physical health, it is both of them. They are married, they're holding hands, and you must do both of them at the same time, which is why we will pair you up with a fitness coach, a nutrition coach, and sometimes even both.
Yep.
So, Jill, I'm going to turn it over to you first. What are some, in your opinions, I know in many other episodes we've talked about like the big buckets, the pillars, the main things. In your opinion, what are some of those when it comes to your physical health?
The buckets of physical health?
Yeah.
Yeah. Physical health. I mean, obviously exercise is one of them.
Okay.
Nutrition is another one. And I wouldn't put one above the other. I think they're equally important.
Do you think that's a new thing for you, saying that they're equal? What about 5 years ago? Would you have said that?
I think I would have had the notion, but I don't know that I would have had the full understanding of the fact that they are pretty equal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Like I knew, but I didn't know to what extent.
Yeah, I think it's been personalized for you.
It has been very personalized for me. Yes.
I would not say perfected, but you have very much done a very good job of the exercise route over the past 10 years. And over this past, year or two-ish, maybe through digging deep nutrition, you've said, no, they are both. It is 50-50.
It is both. It is both.
So exercise, nutrition.
Yeah. Sleep.
Sleep
is a big one. I mean, gosh, I think they're all equal. And maybe I'll deep dive and be a sleep coach after nutrition coaching.
There we go.
And then you have other components of your physical health like stress. How do you manage that? Connections with humans, your relationships. So there's a lot of variety in what different types of things will impact your overall physical health.
When you are doing nutrition coaching, how do some of those impact people's success or nutrition journey that you take them on? Like, how important of the puzzle is that when you're coaching?
They're all very important pieces of the puzzle because they all play together. So if you're nailing your nutrition and you're working out 5 days a week, but you're not sleeping well and you have a lot of stress at work, that can absolutely impact your goals. So when we're looking at someone's goal and what they're trying to do, we look at it holistically and we look at all of those different departments of overall health.
Alexis, what are your initial comments to what Jill just said?
I think that I think all those are really important. I think that like sleep, fueling yourself, all that kind of stuff is really important. I think that also asking for like help is really important in
like the social support side of it.
Yes. To make all of those things happen is really, really important. I think that that also you touched on like the social aspect of that, but
why do you say that asking for help is so important?
So I am really passionate about this. I think that it's something that I have had a tough time learning in the past couple of years. But when you ask for help, say like, hey, could you pick up my kids or do this thing or run to the grocery store for me or whatever, it deposits kind of some like relational equity into other people. And it's like, hey, I trust you. I depend on you. Can you do this thing for me so that I can be successful, so that I can go to the gym?
Right.
Like I had to choose the gym or the grocery store or whatever. And that is kind of like twofold. One, you get to go to the gym and you're fulfilling that goal and like keeping up with that rhythm, but also you are depositing into that like relational bank account almost. And not that relationships are transactional, but I have these people in my life that I can trust and that support me. And like that in general is a great feeling, but also, like, oh, if something crazy happened, I know that I can depend on them. I don't have to worry about like, if something was super, super crazy in my life, they can step in and help me. And I already have that built up.
I think we're going to ask the same question. Do you think people struggle to ask for help?
Yes.
Why?
I think that especially
that actually was not. That's a great question.
In the kind of like American culture, independence is like idolized almost. And so if you are dependent, I think that makes us seem like weak or like we can't do it on our own.
Yeah.
When in all like actuality, if you ask for help, you can do more things.
That's good.
Actually.
That is good. So let me ask you this. Do you think that component of what you're just talking about, how does that intersect with the CS&F community that you were explaining?
The asking for help?
Yeah, or just you were saying that when you ask for help, it's a part of relational health and the fact that I can't do it all. Like you said, I'm not meant to be independent, and I'm gonna trudge through life with my inner circle or even an outer circle.
Yeah.
That I think here at CS&F, it is a circle, and you have inner circles and outer circles, but there is 250 people here that are all heading in the same direction. That whether you are practically asking for help or just going to the same class together, hey, I'm not alone. Because that's where I think an insecurity comes in when it comes to our health, is that we think we struggle alone, whether it's with our eating habits or our lack of knowledge and exercise or insecurities when we look at the mirror. But then when you come to a class and you're reaffirmed by your coach, but you also talk to somebody and say, oh yeah, I've struggled with that too, or I can at least relate or empathize with you. I think that's where we see all the time people come for the fitness but stay for the community. I mean, not just are there awesome people that we're throwing parties or we're doing cool events or whatever, but you get to actually build relationships. And then you have the outlet to actually say, hey, can you pick up my kids because I have to go to another kid's outing or something like that? Yeah. So that's kind of what I was intersecting there.
Can you pick up my dog from the vet because she's having a panic attack? And Alex picked her up and kept her for like 3 days at his house.
I did.
Gosh.
That was 3 dogs and 2 kids in diapers at our house.
Yep. Such a good friend.
Yeah.
Such a good friend.
Stella lived.
She made it.
And now she has a brother.
Well, I also was talking to Alexa when I first moved here, and that's how I got my job at Apex.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, hello, does anyone know anyone hiring anyone for anything? And she was like, oh, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, you should call Tiffany.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
shameless plug, Apex is awesome. We've had a seminar here. I mean, we love Apex over there.
They're awesome.
So, Alexis, outside of the physical health, you said there's like the relational health or relational equity deposits of asking for help, inviting people in. What are some of the other things that you had in mind as far as like this term self-governance or just taking care of yourself?
Yes, I think that self-awareness is a really big one. And I think that that's not just being aware of how you come off to others and that their communication styles are different, but actually knowing your habits and your tendencies. Like when I wake up in the morning, I move like a sloth and I just do not move fast. And I would rather wake up 45 minutes earlier and like relax, make my Chemex coffee, read a little bit, like those kinds of things.
Is that why you work out in the afternoon and not the morning?
No, I hate working out in the morning.
Oh.
I would just rather work out in the afternoon because I have to eat a lot or I'll pass out because I'm hypoglycemic.
So go back to the self-awareness.
Anyway,
why is being self-aware so important?
Because you can be more proactive and remove barriers in your life if you know what they're going to be.
You can remove barriers in your life by being aware of what they actually are.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. So if I know that on that 3 days a week, I have really busy days, but I want to make it to the gym 5 days a week. How am I going to overcome those barriers? What can I do? How can I ask for help? How can I arrange my day? Am I going to have the energy to work out even if I make it to the gym? So what are the barriers that I can proactively combat so that I'm setting myself up actually for success?
Jill, what are your thoughts to that?
I like it. I mean, I think it's also like self-management.
Yeah.
You know, managing yourself, your time, your schedule, your goals, your priorities, and just figuring out how to make the main things and asking for help if for whatever reason you can't reach the goal or priority that you have for that day or week.
Here's what's interesting about self-awareness is that I've done a lot of study and reading over it. One, it's the number one predictor of success. That there was a huge study between like C-level executives of $5 million companies and $50 billion companies. And the number one predictor of success in all those companies was the leader's self-awareness. It wasn't their experience. It wasn't what family they came from. It wasn't their resume. It was their emotional intelligence and self-awareness.
They knew their gaps.
But also, when it comes to self-awareness, 95% of people think they're self-aware, but only 15% of people in society actually are self-aware. And that was by another study, I think through Harvard, that through a very extensive survey done by both them and the people in their life, they came to a conclusive result on if you would be considered like self-aware and levels of self-awareness. So I say that because it's very important. Many people think they're self-aware. Oh yeah, I know my barriers. I know that. But in actuality, you probably don't or don't to the level that you think you do. So in your guys' opinion, how do we increase levels of self-awareness so that we can A, remove obstacles, or B, know what our motivations are here, or express how we're feeling, stuff like that? How do we increase levels of self-awareness in your opinion?
I mean, for me, that's a very important value for our staff. And so we, aside from keeping constant feedback loops, we like to do 360 reviews.
Yeah.
And we'll send those out to members, to other staff members, to family members, to friends, and have other people basically evaluate you.
Yeah.
What am I good at and what am I not good at?
Yeah.
And that brings a great level of awareness to the gaps that we might have. And
Yeah.
everyone has
That's
them.
good.
Everybody has them. There's
good.
nobody that's perfect. And there's nobody that, has only strengths. Everybody has gaps. And the more aware of those we are, the better off we're going to be. And the better off our team is going to be.
That's gold. Alexis?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things that I found in helping people with self-awareness is the analogy that I've heard the best is like if you have 100 pennies during the day and everything that you do, like going to work takes 40, taking care of my kids takes 20, cooking food takes this many. If you plan out 100 of those every day, if you plan to expend all of them every day, you're going to go into debt because things are going to happen that you didn't anticipate, like the studio not working and like all of those kinds of things. So if you plan to use up all of yourself every day, you're going to run yourself into the ground, and then you're not going to have the energy to want to grow in self-awareness.
Yeah, be self-aware. You don't have that margin, that emotional capacity to even pause and ask.
And we don't want to admit that we're not invincible. So I think that one of the biggest things in becoming self-aware is narrowing or limiting your commitments and those types of things so that, hey, I've planned out 80 of my pennies today.
Yeah.
Or that's your energy equity if you want to stay on that track of hey, if this goes wrong, it'll be okay. I've planned an extra 30 minutes of my day or whatever to relax. But I could switch that over to something else if I need to keep working on my goals in mind.
I'm going to go to the bank and get some change after this.
Yeah.
Get all my pennies. And it's like, Alex, why do you have $10 worth of pennies in your bag? I'm like, Alexis told me to. So as we're rounding third here, Alexis, is there any other important attributes or things worth bringing up in this conversation to you? Or are those kind of the main things?
Those, I think, are the two big things
that
I was thinking of.
It's really your relational health, talking about inviting those people in. And then it's also your mental and emotional health, because all of those are connected. Because I 100% agree that I do think that the number one predictor of not just success but health is self-awareness as well. It's the ability to pause and ask, why am I doing this? Why am I really doing this? Why am I pursuing this? Why is this my goal? Why do I want to lose 10 pounds? Why am I not modifying the workout? Really? Oh, no, I'm fine. No. Is it because your ego is like attached to this and you actually need to let that aside and actually drop down a weight and do what's better for your growing? I'm talking to myself right now because I don't hurt myself and set myself back 30 minutes.
Or do you need to take a rest day?
Exactly. So it's just being aware, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, relationally as well. So that's kind of some of the big things. So I would say, and I want your guys' takeaways as well, but I think the biggest takeaway for me is your health happens so much more than just the 60 minutes in the gym, that we need to be aware and be intentional about the other areas because they are very important. Jill, what's your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, there are many pieces to the health and wellness puzzle. Fitness is one of them. It's an important one, but there are many other things that complete the puzzle and that give you an overall sense of well-being and health in general.
Alexis?
I think that my biggest takeaway is that you do like kind of have an army of people around you that are willing to help if you will ask them.
That's good.
Or allow them.
That's good. Your community is the strongest dose of accountability you ever get, and I say that all the time, and I think this place is a living, breathing example of that. I mean, even we just had a couple episodes ago, one of our coaches as well, Trevor, just came on, and we walked through a story of how he was training in his garage by himself, and then he came to the gym, and literally his fitness alone, not just any other area of health, but his fitness alone has exponentially increased. Like, he's been getting so fit. And I was like, Trevor, what's been the difference? He's like, working out the gym. He's like, when I have people, have training partners, it is unreal how much that changes the game when you're just by yourself. So, and I would argue that's with life as well, not just in the gym, but
changes the game.
Are you parenting with people? Are you going through hard times with people? Are you going to church with people? Are you just in a small group with people? Whatever that is, just like find those people. And there's a lot of cool people here to do life with as well.
Indeed.
All right, guys, we have 37 and a half seconds left in this episode. One final question. I know that this will be posted after the first week of the Open, but we're recording it a couple days out from the CrossFit Open. We're all familiar with that. All going to take a guess on what type of movement or what movement we're going to see in week one.
One movement, or like you want me to predict the whole workout?
No, you can do whatever you want. What are we going to see? What are we going to see?
I've been doing this a long time, so I know what movements we've seen over the last, 15 years,
Right.
and I know which ones show up a lot and which ones don't. And week one, I can never predict it. By week three, I can.
Yes.
By week three.
Yes.
It's going to be something that has a very low barrier to entry and that everybody can do most of.
Okay.
So like last year, it was wall walks and double unders, right?
No,
was that last year?
No, it was wall walks.
That was 2 years ago.
Dumbbell snatch and box jump overs.
Yes.
But that was last year was the first year they announced you can't rebound. You have to step down. Remember that?
Yeah.
I love that, by the way.
So the kettlebell was on the equipment list this year. That's the first time in history. So I'm thinking maybe something with kettlebell swings, double unders, maybe wall walks, something like that.
I sure hope wall walks are not in it.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see. Alexis, what do you think we're going to see week one?
Week one, I kind of think there's going to be a new movement.
New movement.
I was talking to another coach. I would love to see him put a barbell back squat in
like a one rep or just
something
reps?
with back squat
Interesting.
in it, or like something that's off of the J hooks. Because
like
I think that he is trying to like deviate a little bit from Dave Castro.
Interesting.
But still stay true to CrossFit movements.
I'm just glad you didn't say the devil's press.
Oh my gosh, that would be really sad. But I think that I also think that it's going to be something like low entry. I feel like week 2, week 3, we're going to see a lot of gymnastics.
More complexity in gymnastics.
What if they put a cluster in?
I'll finish this and say my absolute least favorite workouts in CrossFit ever are the 6 to 8 minute sprint AMRAPs of any kind of light barbell and double unders because my feet absolutely explode. You know, like it's the 10-minute AMRAP of 30 double unders and 10 like snatches at like 75, 55. Absolute worst workout because after one round, my feet literally feel like knives are going through them.
That-
It's going to be something like that, and I'm going to hate it. I'm going to be like, oh, I hope it's not, but that's my guess.
Man, we are all very positive about.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be amazing.
Can't wait.
Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Alexis, thanks so much for being on here. Jill, thanks again for hopping on, and we'll see you in another episode of the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. See you guys.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today, friends. I hope today's conversation helped you gain a greater understanding of the mission at CS&F to change lives through fitness and nutrition. Check us out on social media or reach out at comingstrengthandfitness.com. We would love to help you take your health to the next level. We'll see you next time.